I am a Star Wars fan from way back from the original trilogy era. I'm not a super Star Wars fan in the sense that I don't know all of the lore, and I've never been to a convention, um, and the little minutia kind of stuff that real intense Star Wars geeks, if you will. No, I don't know. I'm sort of a mild to moderate Star Wars geek from the original, uh, you know, trilogy and everything really pre-Disney. I'm a fan of, even though some of it was more quality than others, and I'll admit the prequels had a lot of problems, but I still enjoyed them because they were they were still part of the same thing, the same entity. You know, After the Disney buyout and um, Lucas stepping back as the creator of everything, I could see that it had changed. That it wasn't the same thing that it had been before, and then the Disney sequel trilogy was really disappointing, particularly The Last Jedi. I've talked about this a lot in my now deleted videos. I had my reactions to seeing The Last Jedi, and my reactions to everything that took place with The Last Jedi, and what the agenda was behind the making of The Last Jedi. um, The Last Jedi was the most egregious example of this issue, which is uh, you know endemic to all of the sequel trilogy, but it just was more concentrated in The Last Jedi, particularly in what they did to the white male hero, Luke Skywalker. Um, how they deconstructed him and his heroism and everything, which was something that was really distressing and angering to see them do. So I wanted to talk about what I saw last night. I've been watching The Mandalorian and enjoying it to the degree that I enjoy anything that's post Disney Star Wars. And to a large extent, it seems like The Mandalorian was made with the notion of trying to win back some of the Star Wars fans that the trilogy, the sequel trilogy, especially The Last Jedi, had alienated. But it was still under the same auspices of the same body. So, while I have enjoyed it, and I also enjoyed Rogue One, by the way, but I also have been watching still with a skeptical eye, and aware that even though they're trying to win me and the likes of me back in some ways, that there's still one foot on sea and one on shore, as Shakespeare put it in Much Ado About Nothing. There's still one part of the making of the show is still bound up with all of the terrible negative stuff that is the Disney franchise, the Disney entity, the corporate, neoliberal SJW betrayal of the tradition, and all of that. So I wanted to talk about my reaction to the last episode, the last few minutes of the last episode of The Mandalorian, which is something that seems to have created this groundswell of emotion in a lot of people. And of course, this is spoiler alert for those who are concerned about that sort of thing. I don't know how many people who actually still watch my channel, for whom that would really be an issue anyway. But if you haven't seen the last episode yet, and you're interested in seeing it without hearing about what happens in the last few minutes of it, then don't watch from this point forward. So the Mandalorian final episode of season 2 ends with what can only be described as the triumphant reappearance of Luke Skywalker, the hero that is beloved of the fan base. Not just old white men, as some people might say, but the fan base generally, old and young, of all races and of both genders. And while I was watching it unfold, I was doubting it to the very end. I was doubting right up to the reveal. And the reveal itself is, of course, a CGI version of younger Luke Skywalker when he pulls the cowl down and you see that it's him. It's still this kind of funky, computer game looking Luke Skywalker, but it's still clear that it's meant to be him. But up to that point, even though all of the giveaways were that it was him, it was indeed him coming to save the day, just kicking ass all the way, taking out these really tough droids that seemed unstoppable, and he was just taking them out left and right, using the Force, just crushing them, both with his lightsaber and with his Force choking abilities. Even through that whole thing, even when we saw the black cape, even though we saw the chin that was clearly him, underneath the black cape, even when we saw the green lightsaber, the gloved hand on his right hand, his lightsaber hand, even through all of that reveal, I was still thinking to myself, you can't get too excited about this. You can't get too excited about this because this is Disney Star Wars. And they exist to crush your dreams. They exist to tell you that your heroes aren't really heroes and that you're just a racist, sexist, homophobe because you want your heroes to be your heroes. So I just didn't believe it. I was like Thomas after the resurrection. The other disciple saying, he came back, he's back, he's back from the dead. And Thomas says, no way, I'm not believing this until I see it for myself, until I can touch the wound with my fingers and see to myself that it is really him back from the grave. I'm not believing this at all. I'm not buying this. I'm not going to fall for this. I'm not going to be a sucker. So all the whole time, while it was happening, I was still in that mode. I'm not going to be a sucker. I was just so, it just speaks volumes to where my mindset is and where I think the mindset is of so many right now, contemporarily speaking, here at the end of the calendar year 2020. We're so jaded, we're so cynical, we're so we've been gaslighted so often, we've been put through the ringer, psychologically speaking, so many times by so many nefarious mind wizards. It's happened so often that we just can't believe when something good is happening before us. And I know to those of you who aren't into Star Wars, who just think, who don't understand what the fuss is, of course, if you're not a fan, you don't get it, and that's fine. And I'm only speaking of what this signifies, okay, in the minds of the fan. So it's like, you just don't believe that it's really going to be him. You don't believe that, all this time it was like, yeah, this is great seeing him. This was unexpected, and I'm really excited now, and it's great seeing him be who he was, you know, back when we were allowed to have heroes, uh, and not see them get kicked around and dragged through the mud and told that it's for our own good. This is all well and good, but until I see his face, I don't believe that it's him. And then he lifts the cowl, and it's him, but it's kind of him. It's, you know, it's like that in itself seems like it's also representative of something. It's kind of him, but you can tell that it's special effects, you know, and that's what almost makes it bittersweet. Is that even when we're being given something that, even when we're being told, okay, you can have your hero, here's your hero doing heroic things, you know, even when we're allowed to see that, and we're given the big reveal, it still doesn't look real to us, you know. I mean, it was great to see him back. It was great to see people's reactions. I went back and watched, you know, people's reactions on different YouTube channels, people reacting to this moment, and it's really heartening. It's really it's like the way I felt this summer when I went to the beach and saw people just playing on the beach here in Georgia, where the beaches are open, and not cowering in their homes or putting things on their faces all the time because the powers that be are telling us, you know, that we have to be afraid all the time. But just seeing people out enjoying themselves, every time I've seen that, you know, has been truly heartening. And seeing people react in this way to the return of Luke Skywalker, even though it seems like a small thing, and it is a small thing, it's and I don't even know these people, but there's something so powerful about seeing them laugh and be all giddy and jump around the room like they've returned to their childhood. Just it's hard to describe just how, you know, emotional that is on some level, but there's also a bittersweetness to it because they've taken so much from us. They've just you know, they've ripped out our hearts. I know that sounds dramatic, but everything that's been going on lately, you know, we've got to fight to get it back. We've got to fight to get back what's ours. That's what I'm left with thinking after all of this. Thank you for indulging me in this little soliloquy here. I just wanted to meditate for a moment on the return of the triumphant, heroic Luke Skywalker and what it signifies and what it entails, at least to me. Thanks for watching. My name's Andy Nowicki. You can check out my work at altrightnovelist.com.